This is the Fifth Estate Winning Headlines, your media police post, coming to you from Nairobi, Kenya, from the Fort Hall School of Government. In this segment, we summarize some of the headlines that you may have missed this morning, but we also take a look at some of the political pieces that we call cartoons in this country. Today is the 15th of January 2020, and I am 2M.
I am DM.
And I am JM. In case you missed the headlines, here they are. In the Daily Nation, did UHURU sack RUTO's running mate? In the Standard, UHURU fights back. And in the Star, UHURU pushes RUTO out of Mount Kenya. So this is all following from yesterday's statement of intent by President Kenyatta, and of course the cabinet reshuffle and the exit of Mwangi Kiunjuri from cabinet. And that's what all the headlines are tackling. So I think we can take them together.
Absolutely.
So what's to be said?
You know, the takeaway of what happened yesterday to me is this, and should be a message to William Ruto, that it is very hard to fight a sitting head of state. All right, because he has what you call monopoly of violence. And from what happened yesterday, what UHURU was actually doing was re-establishing hegemony. By kicking out Kiunjuri, was saying, you're deciding to cohabit with the enemy, I will show you who's boss and I'll bring in new faces. But also as well, because he seemed to have been responding to some bad vibe in central Kenya. And they're saying, the president has neglected central Kenya. And therefore, UHURU gave us some sort of stimulus package, gave the GEMA people some sort of stimulus package and said, now I have your issues in mind and I will sort them out. But as well, you have to know who is boss.
I agree with you 100%, but I think that the message should specifically be to Kiunjuri, because he's a smaller fish than William Ruto. And if things go south, it is him
so
who will bear the brunt.
So what they seem to be telling us in all these headlines is two things here. That Ruto has really been giving UHURU a hard time in government, right? And this is what they're speculating about. And now yesterday, and as the Standard says, UHURU fights back. Yesterday, UHURU now kicks out the people who are perceived to be Ruto sympathizers in cabinet.
And we must mention, speaking of cabinet, I don't think there's a minister in Kenyan history who was fired and on the same day called a press conference to release a very passive-aggressive message to his former employer. And the number two, today in the papers, he has taken out a paid ad, printing the same message that he delivered in all the dailies. But some of the texts that have been put in here from Kiunjuri have been highlighted. And one of the highlighted ones are, make no mistake, I am going nowhere.
I'm doubtful that, I'm not sure what game Kiunjuri is playing. Maybe I think he's playing the long game, and that's what we saw with the passive aggression yesterday. But I don't know to what extent he'll be successful. He's been Minister for Agriculture for a whole year, but even in that whole year, I doubt that he did much for the people of central Kenya. Or at least if he did, it's not very obvious to us. So if his intention is to take up the mantle of leadership or to wrestle it from UHURU Kenyatta, I don't see how that's going to happen.
I'm on the same page. In fact, I don't see how he has, and I may be wrong, but I don't think Kiunjuri has a national outlook on politics. Not just because he hasn't, run at a national level or for a position at a national scale. It's because he doesn't have a message that coalesces. For instance, Isaac Ruto, the former governor of Bomet, didn't run for president, but he had a national outlook to politics because he's the one who broke down devolution to us, for instance. Everybody in the country knew him, but I think Kenyans have always known Kiunjuri as a servant of whichever sitting president is there. But in central Kenya, I believe, as somebody who does not speak Kikuyu, I understand that his oratory is very much loved and appreciated by central Kenya people. Is that enough to propel you to national leadership? I don't think so.
But guys,
definitely not.
Let's look at it this way. I don't think Kiunjuri would go this alone, because if he did, he would lose. I think he would do, if he was going to fight back, fight UHURU Kenyatta back, he would do it with others of the same mindset. Let's do some mapping. Central Kenya, you have Kiambu. You have persons that are allied to William Ruto. You have Kimani Ichung'wah, you have Moses Kuria. If you go to Murang'a, you have Alice Wahome. If you go to Laikipia, you have Kionjori. If you go to Nyeri, you know, there's literally everywhere where you go that GEMA is present, you have a GEMA point man that is allied to William Ruto.
Yeah.
Now, what I am seeing is an arrangement that is preparing itself to take on the presidency. All right? The battles are about to escalate. Nothing is about to go down. I think the battle lines are drawn. Uhuru Kenyatta has his people, and William Ruto has his people. And I think the battle is about to get bloody and nasty.
Yeah.
So, who do we award the headline? We have a 3-part criteria that we use to judge these headlines. Number 1, is it topical or speculative? Repetitive or groundbreaking? And finally, thoughtful or just plain lazy?
They're all extremely topical. We can agree on that.
Absolutely.
The Daily Nation.
Yes.
It is speculative, but it's very interesting and captivating at the same
absolutely.
time.
Especially with the question mark. I mean, that running mate, Ruto's running mate.
So let's give it to the Nation.
We give it to the Nation. I don't agree with their sub-headline, though. They were very condemning to Kionjuri, saying he's fueled by an oversized ambition. Are they the regulators of people's ambition?
So, toss those.
Absolutely.
And we have a winning headline from the Daily Nation. And on to the political pieces that we call cartoons in this country.
Yes.
We have a 3-part criteria for this as well. Are they humorous or dry, satirical, pessimistic, and finally effective or just plain lazy? What do we have in the Standard?
In the Standard, Gado has drawn a very healthy-looking cow. And the cow is healthy because she is being fed by none other than Raila Odinga in a trough that's written BBI, full of hay. But at her udders is Uhuru Kenyatta with his tongue sticking out, milking her with relish.
Terribly pessimistic. What a pessimistic tone to begin the year with. And this is what the president was talking about yesterday in his speech. You know, he's very sad that BBI is being portrayed as something that is about the elite, about dynasties. It's not, you know. BBI will open a new chapter for Kenya, honestly.
But we can at least say that at least...
create a new consensus.
Gado has depicted Kenya as a cow before, but at least this time it's a fat cow that is not emaciated.
Let's be realistic. Uhuru Kenyatta is a politician. Uhuru Kenyatta is a politician. He must be able to milk situations out. I mean, he must be able to milk out of situations, however bad, however good. This is a very realistic cartoon.
So it's actually unrealistic to expect politicians to undertake processes that do not benefit them in some way.
Absolutely.
If those processes, for example, BBI, not only benefit the architects, which is Uhuru and Raila, but also benefit the country, then...
Yes, very good. Very good. So toss it.
In the Daily Nation, Ndula has Uhuru Kenyatta at the podium depicting his speech from yesterday, but next to him is a big drum like we used to see in the charity sweepstakes. And it says, and there's locusts all around him, and one of Uhuru's arms is inside the drum, the sweepstake drum. And it says, Uhuru family deals with the locust menace. I'm so sick of this locust motif already.
This is known as what's
dry cartoon.
I think this one is just
it's very convoluted.
And the Star.
Finally, on the Star we have the same podium with Uhuru Kenyatta behind him, behind it rather. And out of one of the drawers on the podium is a little Kionjuri in the form of a locust, and we know that because it's his head on the locust, and it says, "I will bite if provoked."
I found this one very humorous, you know, to combine Kionjuri with the locusts, which he's been trying to combat. He was responsible for that in Ministry of Agriculture. So I
think that if we just put the picture up there again and zoom in on Kionjuri's face, this is Kionjuri's exact attitude.
Yesterday.
Do
you think it was a warning?
He was warning.
Do you think he was warning Uhuru Kenyatta?
He is warning a sitting president who has 2 more terms.
Do you think he was doing
war unto
2 more terms? 2 more terms or 2 more years?
2 more years, sorry.
Unless you know something we don't.
So which one do you like, guys?
This one is very funny. The Ozone cartoon
I think we awarded to Ozone.
And it's effective.
Fantastic.
And so what is our final thought?
And now our final thought. It is inspired by a book entitled So Good They Cannot Ignore You. And it is by a man called Carl Newport.
Yes.
I'll give you a summary.
I will. So the book is Why Follow Your Passion is Bad Advice, and the Surprising Strategies That Work Better. So this book sheds light on the follow your passion myth. He calls it a myth in this book, and shows that the true path to work you love lies in becoming the craftsman or craftswoman of the work you already have, and collecting rare skills.
Right.
So he's saying, don't do what you love, but learn to love what you do already, and become a craftsman to collect the skills that you need in the industry that you're already operating in. So he says in the book that compelling and fulfilling careers often have complex origins that reject the simple idea that all you have to do is to follow your passion. So an example is somebody who ends up being very successful and wealthy and very well known for laying down sewerage systems in cities, for instance. Was his passion sewage? Perhaps not, because he was just led by events, markets, and fortune to a certain career path that ended up being very fulfilling, and he or she honed their skills to provide that service that was needed. And he says that the most passionate employees are not those who followed their passion into a position, but instead those who have stayed around long enough to become good at what they do. So the thing here that he's also talking about is time and discipline and being consistent. When I read this book, I couldn't help but think about two other books that we have discussed on this table. One of them is Mastery by Robert Greene, and the other one is The Outliers by Malcolm Gladwell. So the messaging in Mastery is that if you want to be a leader in whatever field that you're working in, you need to look at the historical masters and then replicate their methods. He says you can be born a peasant but die a king if you just gain fluency in whatever craft that you have. And then Gladwell in The Outliers tells us that success is a matter of practice and hard work, and natural talent is merely a bonus. And he tells us about the acquisition of the 10,000 hours. So both these books that we've read before that are about the same subject matter, they don't expressly say that don't follow your passion, but they don't say it either that you should follow your passion.
You know, before I read this book, I disagreed with his thesis.
So did you, Jeff?
But then I read it and I started agreeing with it. But then at the end, I sort of ended up disagreeing with it, but slightly. And there's a reason why. He says that there are two mindsets. The first mindset is the craftsman mindset, right? The second mindset is the passion mindset. And he says the craftsman mindset is informed by deliberate practicing, all right? And that is the 10,000 hour rule by Malcolm Gladwell. And he says there are three ingredients to this. One is creativity, second is control, and the third is impact. Now, and then he speaks of the passion mindset. And this passion mindset, he says, if you quit your job today, and then you say, oh, I'm going to go and start a blog, and you haven't thought about monetizing your blog, then you run into losses. You wonder, oh, why did I not do it this way? And if I did it this way, then I'll probably be making some money. And he says the difference between the craft mindset and the passion mindset is that the craft mindset creates clarity, while the passion mindset creates confusion. So for him, it's a thing about structure. But then I sat back and I said, look, if you don't have an intrinsic feeling in yourself that you love your job, no matter how many skills or how much of a skill set you have mastered, then all you're doing is useless, in my view. Right? Let me give you an example. If I played football so well, let's assume I'm a 6-year-old, 7-year-old child, right? And my football skills were very good. And however, they're not structured to a point where I have a technical football set that I'm not able to apply in a league, then my parents would probably have taken me to a football academy and have gotten my skill set. But that does not mean that if I join a Premier League team, for example, I cannot have passion for the game. What, in other words, is assuming is this: you go and get your skill. After you get your skill, then you get your passion, right? I am saying you can still have your passion, no matter how much skill set you haven't honed. in the long term and in the future, you'll probably know how to keep it better and sustain it.
Yeah.
So at that level is where we disagree.
And let me just put it differently, because I also had to. I went through the same journey as Kevin. Reading this book, I first of all I didn't really agree with it, because passion is critical.
Yeah.
But then at some point, you have to be sort of pragmatic. You have to be practical.
Yes.
About what people need.
Yeah.
About what values. Not values, but how to make yourself valuable in solving people's problems.
Yeah.
And this is the difference. We've talked about this before. The difference between job and work.
Yes.
Right. Job is what prepares you for work.
Yeah.
Now, work is what you're passionate about. Work is that problem that has been bothering you for the last 5-10 years.
Yes.
You want to do something about sanitation.
Yes.
You want to solve a problem about women's rights, men's rights, anything, anything of that kind.
Yeah.
Now, that is where your passion lies. And it doesn't mean that you should pursue your work from day one.
Yeah.
You've got to make money.
Yes.
So you go, you find a job. In the job, you'll get training, you'll get networks, you'll get some resources, which then allow you to feed whatever your passion is.
Yes.
So it doesn't mean that your passion you cast it aside and
Precisely.
you forget about it and focus on something that you really never wanted to do for 40-50 years of your life.
Precisely.
I think the thing that I disagree with in the book is the clinical way in which he writes off the passion route, or people who choose to focus on their passions, because there are many people in the world that don't have to work a day in their lives because they love what they do and they pursued their passion. However, I think that they are a minority.
That's true.
Example, the founder of Apple,
Steve Jobs.
Steve Jobs. His passion lied in Zen. He wanted to be a Zen master, like a sort of Buddhist monk. But then he formed one of the most lucrative and successful companies in the world.
That's right.
So was that his work or his job?
That was actually that was his work as well.
His name is Job.
That was his work. That was his calling, and that's what he spent 10,000 hours doing. And Zen kind of fitted into that, and he infused a lot of Zen into the Apple machines.
I think as humans, the thing is to find a balance. If your passion aligns with your career, then good for you.
Absolutely. But you don't have to abandon your passion.
You don't have to abandon your passion.
Well, I agree. So on a day that we had a winning headline from the Daily Nation and a winning cartoon from the Star, we will leave you with our usual request not to forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We are on your TV screens. Don't forget that. Find us on Pang, Free to Air, Go TV, and Star Times. Good evening, and see you tomorrow.